Konnichiwa, y'all, and welcome to the 10 at 10 for February 11th of 2025. I'm Matt, and I got the homie Corbin rolling with me today.
What's up, y'all? Who's ready to talk about some awesome trees? First up on this list, we got Acer palmatum Julia.
Now, this is a Buchholz and Buchholz introduction. That's pretty rare. You don't see this one in the trade a lot. This one was named around the same time as Mikazuki. So after the Ghost series, Talon had another series of kind of real, interesting reticulated forms. This one about 6 to 7 foot, noted for having some of the really interesting creamy foliage with that reticulated variegation, especially in the early spring.
Yeah, I love the reticulated varieties. I mean, Talon, he likes to have a lot of reticulated varieties, and he loves those little rare ones. You know, he produced for a little bit here and there, and that just makes them, you know, so much rarer. And this one is pretty dope. That green reticulation is going to look perfect next to something with maybe a little bit of that red, that little bit of pink reticulation like Mikazuki or, you know, Purple Ghost.
Beautiful plant. In that mid-size range again. Now this one is going to be more yellows to oranges in the fall. Great container, great ruffled leaf. I love to pair this one with Magi Shiguri a lot. Like, it looks really nice with that. Really cool plant. And Buchholz and Buchholz intro, you don't see very often, but we're bringing it back. Grab your Acer palmatum Julia today. Going to work zones 5 through 9.
Guys, Pinus parviflora Cleary right here.
Awesome plant, guys. We're bringing these back in kind of a 1.5, so a little bit more larger than your traditional 1 gallon. Awesome white pine. This one's going to work zones 5 through 7, guys. Absolutely amazing blue colors. I like this one. You know, a lot of people don't consider this variegated, but if you're in the maple world, this has got a lot of white going on in it. That blue and white gives this one a really interesting appearance.
Yeah, I love that blue-white color mixed with kind of that little bit of twist on the needles. It really gives you some nice texture in the garden for this white pine. I mean, we've seen those blue-white pines like in Gibbs' garden. You know, I love them to death because they just allow you to add so much contrast, so much different color and texture in the garden. Very versatile plants.
This one's super showy. I love the color patterns to it. Typically around 8 foot and 15 years, absolutely immaculate form, dense and full, brings the color, makes a great backdrop or kind of a focal point in the garden for sure. It's a great way to add structure into your garden and add color around that.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about the pines is just how much you can influence it with pruning and kind of shaping and really get just this nice structural piece in the landscape, especially with white pines.
Pinus parvifloras are great for that. They make great topiaries. They add a lot texturally going on, and white pines, they give that aesthetic. I mean, they give me an aesthetic that makes me think of Japanese maples and gardening.
Yeah, exactly. Anytime I'm out there at a Bojangles, at that Zen garden, you know, and you just look over that nice reflection pond, you're reflecting on life, and you just look up and see a beautiful pruned white pine. It doesn't get much better than that.
Grab you a Cleary today in our 1.5s. All right, y'all, let's bring back some 2 gallons of one of my favorite camellias, Governor Mouton.
Yeah, camellias are really something I started paying attention to this winter time. I mean, evergreen beauty, blooming during those winter months. And this one is crazy, man. It's that double bloom kind of, I was saying it looks kind of like a tie-dye flower out there.
I dig it. This is going to work zone 6B through 10, so very cold hardy as far as camellias go. It's one of those ones that ranges some of the most colder zones you can get to. We're here in western North Carolina. Our old USDA zone was a 6, and this is one that works here for us. So we like a lot of zone 6 camellias. They really interest us. This one is actually one of the most flashy of those zone 6s as well. You mentioned it, it's got tie-dye, crazy pink and white foliage.
Yeah, I know. After seeing some of those pictures on the website, seeing some of the blooms earlier this year, it was just kind of crazy, and it's just something that attracts you, just seeing that nice double tight bloom with that crazy, it just looks like somebody went and threw some dye over top of the flower, and it's pretty dope.
We've got these coming at you today in our 2 gallon sizes. Grab you a Governor Mouton. All right, Corbin, what do we got next?
Guys, for all y'all people that love some deshojo, we got Shin deshojo, the improved version.
Yeah, Shin just means improved. This one, fun plant, different color patterns than you get from deshojo. You're gonna love this one in the landscape or as bonsai. These are grafted, so I always recommend planting your bonsai material, then creating air layers or rooted cuttings from that. Shin deshojo, a little faster growing than deshojo, and a little bit different color. I like the bright, picked up pink red on this one. Really a beautiful spring display. Makes about a 10 to 12 foot tall tree in 15 years in the landscape, so it gets out there quickly. Often over a foot of growth a year, slows down a good bit in that kind of 12 foot range. One of the most showy trees though with the landscape. I mean, you get this in a spring garden, it is absolutely electric.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows deshojo, everybody loves it, and then Shin deshojo, just that little extra cherry color on top, you know, with that beautiful spring colors. And one of my favorite things is kind of like as that transition from spring to summer, you start getting that blushing effect over top of it, you know, a little bit of new growth popping over top of that kind of green, the green leaves, and then back into fall color, and it's just so bright and fiery. Awesome tree.
Grab you one today, Shin deshojo. All right, next up we've got Acer palmatum, Midori-no-teiboku.
Yeah, I mean, this is one, you know, just kind of getting an introduction to, and something that pulled me towards this one is definitely the leaf shape and kind of that spreading habit that it has. And it was found by Dr. Corbin.
I knew you were going to say it. I was like, how can he not say this was found by Dr. Corbin? We got the good Dr. Corbin here with us today, guys. A dope lace leaf. This one is low and spreading, 3 feet tall, 7 feet wide. So think of this kind of in that shape like emerald lace. I actually like the foliage a lot. It's heavily dissected. It's got a very thin, full leaf. Brilliant yellows in the fall as well. Exceptional heat tolerance on Midori-no-teiboku, but low and spreading. You're going to not get a lot of height, but you're going to get good width going on with this one.
Yeah, and I think that width kind of helps you enjoy that texture of the actual leaf itself. I like how this one looks. It's really kind of, each lobe on that leaf really looks nice and similar, almost like a saw blade, like a rounded saw blade on the end. And yeah, watching this thing move from those kind of that spring flush into the summer, you kind of get some of that red borders, a little bit of blushing on top of it. And yeah, this one will make a beautiful specimen in the landscape. Already got a little bit of height to it.
Yeah, these are high grafted, y'all, so they're grafted about a foot, maybe a foot and a little bit up. So they're grafted about right here for perspective. They're just going to continue to cascade out, make a low umbrella from there. Gives you a little bit of that standard straight look to start out with. Great for hostas or something like that if you want one a little bit more elevated in a bed where you already have a few other plants.
Yeah, definitely. This one is a very cool, and hey, Dr. Corbin, he knows his stuff.
All right, always a fan favorite. Let's bring back Murasaki kiyohime.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of my, you know, that kiyohime family was the first kind of dwarfs that I kind of got introduced to. You know, kiyohime with that red border, and Murasaki kiyohime with that purple border, and this is just an awesome tree.
Yeah, beautiful display here, guys. Look, another one that's low and spreading. So this one's great for in front of a window. You know, 4 foot tall, 5 to 6 foot wide, low little toadstool shape. Quintessential for the container. I love this for a patio planter. You get a big patio planter, you get this in there, you've really got all you need there. I mean, some sedums are great to adorn it a little bit in the container, but man, put this out, you got everything you need in a perfect looking planter.
Yeah, I think I love how this shape kind of evolves as it grows, and you kind of just get a little bit more and more toadstool. And it is that perfect tree for that container garden because, you know, this is just going to provide a little bit of splash of color during the springtime, and then as you're moving into the summer, a little bit more of like a lively feel. So a pot is just perfect to kind of just, you know, put it here, put it there, to kind of change it up a little bit.
You know, I mentioned this before with another plant. This is another one that when we used to do trade shows, we would have to form a line for. There'd be so many people after this, they'd be like, how many Murasaki kiyohimes do you have left? And we'd be like, there's only 8. So we'd be like, stay in a straight line this way in the order you came, and I'll help you as you come, because people were like, my gosh, we would take 30, 40 of them. They would sell out, you know, as soon as the gardeners got there. That shape is so cool. People absolutely love this plant, and that small leaf looks great in the garden texture-wise. You're going to love this even midsummer when it puts on that new growth flushes, so you get a little purple border going on in the summer, and then reds to oranges in the fall. It's one of the perfect small Japanese maples.
Yeah, it's super hard to beat. You know, it's a small package, but it packs a lot of punch too.
All right, guys, let's bring back Chamaecyparis Nana lutea. These are on standards, but they're anything from standard in your garden.
Oh yeah, this one is a dope Chamaecyparis. It's going to provide a nice dark kind of green color. Now we can see during the wintertime, it's kind of picked up some of those yellows on the edge of the tree, and I like it on a standard, honestly. You know, this is going to be one that kind of starts off a little globose, and as it continues to grow, it's going to form more of a conical shape.
Yeah, this one's only like 3 to 5 foot, even in a 10-year span, so very compact and dense. Put it up here on the standard just gives you a little bit more height right away in the landscape. Again, great for an area where you have other plants and you want to elevate the garden up. Love this one. Absolutely one of the most colorful Chamaecyparis. I do like that color change. It'll get to a dark evergreen in the summer, but you get that nice yellows during the winter. Overall, a really unique plant. And again, you don't see it grown this way a lot. So typically people root Chamaecyparis. Fun to have them on a standard like this.
Yeah, this kind of just like pulls me back to that Midori-no-teiboku. You know, it's on about a 1 foot graft. You know, you put a couple of those around this, it's going to fill out around the tree, and then you're going to have this nice green beacon kind of sticking up out of that lace leaf stuff.
So we've got these here today in our 2 gallons, and these are going to work zones 4 through 8, and just kind of give you a nice structure. Again, a fun plant to put in a big patio planter. A pair of these would look great in containers together.
Yeah, I just think, you know, framing the walkways, framing pathways, you know, putting some verticality in the garden, it's a perfect option for this Nana lutea, and it's a great looking tree.
I've always said Nana lutea, so you can let us know in the comment section below. I got no idea which is correct.
I'm sure somebody will let us know for sure down there below.
Named after Princess Leia. All right, grab you one today. All right, guys, we're bringing back Acer palmatum dragon tears, this time in some nice size 3 gallons.
Yeah, anytime I see this, I'm a flashback to Cindy Bowles' garden in Texas. She had a beautiful one of these, and it really kind of showed off that semi-pendulous habit that it gets.
I love it. So grow this one, stake it up a little bit, let it kind of weep down from there. Reminds me a little bit of the shape long term of something like a Murasaki. So it's semi-upright, semi-weeping. You kind of get a little of both going on. You certainly get upright branches or upright shape with branches that weep down from there, which I think is super interesting. Beautiful red leaves, very heat tolerant. Bold orangey reds in the fall too. I've had great things said about this one in Oklahoma and Texas for its heat tolerance. Introduction by our friends Ray and Cindy Jackson. A really cool plant. Grab you a dragon tears in some big boy 3 gallons here.
Yeah, don't miss out. This is going to be one. It's going to keep you coming back to the garden and be like, dang man, I'm about to shed some tears.
All right, y'all, we're dropping a new Truncatum X Platanoides. We haven't offered this one yet on Mr. Maple before. Today we've got Pacific Sunset.
Yeah, we talk about some trees with superpowers, man. This one is kind of like, you know, it's got 2 superpowers mixed together. We got Truncatum and, you know, the Shantung maple with the Norway maple. And we got, boom, here, almost like this perfect, vigorous, heat-tolerant, cool-tolerant tree.
I love it, guys. Great fall colors. This one's going to fill out quickly. Typically 25 foot tall, about equal in spread. So it's a great plant to shade out your smaller maples with. It's going to be more of a street tree form. Beautiful upright canopy. For a lot of people that can't grow platanoides in the heat, this one is a truncatum, so it gives it that extra heat tolerance to it. This one's going to be a green, but when you get in those fall months, it has incredible shades of oranges and reds.
Yeah, and something I love about this one, that leaf kind of looks like you overlaid that Norway maple leaf over top of that truncatum leaf, and like what you get here is just that perfect combination, and it has a nice glossy sheen over top of it too.
One thing I've really liked about this too, I think is underrated, and it has to be a little bit more mature, but I actually like the flowers on these a lot. They're very unique flower. If you've seen platanoides flowers and truncatum flowers, I think sometimes the flowers can be really interesting, especially on truncatum, and this one has a great flower.
Like we said, those superpowers coming in, you know, beauty is another one of its superpowers because it's going to look so great during the fall time and super vigorous. And yeah, I just love to see what comes from this hybridization because like we said, you know, gardens are getting smaller. People are moving out to different locations with more heat extremes. And this is a tree to handle that.
Hey, Valentine's coming up. Corbin's gave you the perfect pickup line. You can be like, I think beauty is your superpower. All right, guys, last but not least, we got Picea pungens, the blues, in some exceptional size 10 gallons. Now, these do ship without the pot in a 10 gallon, so make sure if you're getting them delivered right away to be ready to pot these up or plant them.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite, you know, spruces, especially the Colorado blue spruce. You're going to get such amazing color, such amazing shape, and there's so many things like this versatile tree can do in the garden. Introduction
by our friend Larry Stanley. We'll have to get him on the podcast soon. In fact, I got to call him back. He called me today. So if you're watching, Larry, I'm calling you back. Amazing plant. I love the blues. Brilliant color patterns of this one. One of the best blues, obviously, in the garden for that. You can get some glowing blues on this Picea pungens in the spring. I like to stake it up to about 5 to 6 foot. Otherwise, it's going to be about 3 to 4 feet tall. Much like Ryusin for the maple growers, you kind of can play with the shape of this one a good bit. Kind of stake it, manipulate the shape. A great plant to pair with gold drift, as you've heard us talk about in podcasts before, but amazing. The blues with gold drift is kind of a perfect pairing.
Yeah, I know. I talked about this last week, but Bob Fincham, you know, that artsy-fartsy conifer kind of deal. This is like something perfect to, if you have some sort of like natural steps in your garden, let this weep over and cascade, and it kind of makes like a living kind of river as it moves down throughout the garden. Such a dope tree.
Grab you the blues today, guys. We got them in some big boy sizes. I hope you've enjoyed this 10 at 10. Now, this is just 10 of the 20. If you want to see the full 20, make sure to sign up for our weekly emails on Mr. Maple. We send out emails. There's actually 20 trees dropping a day at 10 a.m. and some exciting things you don't want to miss in the rest of that email.
Yeah, guys, if you don't like, share, and subscribe, I might get the blues. And, you know, you don't want that.
I guess that's why they call it the blues. I love it, guys. An amazing plant. Thanks for hopping in here today. We really appreciate all you people who are regulars, everyday watchers. There's a lot of you guys that catch us every single day, 7 days a week here on the Mr. Maple Show. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, remember to take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.